Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back with another Sister Wives Season 14 review. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit that like button. I used to have panic attacks really badly, right? And the last thing that my parents would do is hover over me with a camera in my face and stress me out further. Figure things out and then come to your children. You're told that stress makes this situation worse. So why would the bird and the bald eagle decide to add on to their daughter's stress by dumping onto her and telling her all the things that they're struggling with rather than figure it out before coming to her? We begin this episode at the bird's nest. She's trying to figure out why Cody has on dirty shoes in her home. And I feel the same way. He's like, well, this is not your home anymore. And she's like, okay, but we're still here now. Why do you have them shoes on? I'm team no shoes in the house. I was brought up that way. It's something that I still carry on with me. No judgment. Just want to let y'all know outside is dirty, and I'm somebody who lays on the floor sometimes, even though there's a couch right there. So team no shoes. Team also no street clothes. Don't sit on my bed with the clothes that you had on outside. You need to take a shower first before you do that. If you want to sit somewhere, sit on a chair or the recliner or an ottoman or something like that, but not on my bed. Robin says they moved to Flagstaff in August, and her intentions were to live in that home until her house was built on Coyote Pass. She figured that it would take about 2 years. I want to know how she possibly, after being there for a couple months, thought it would take 2 years. Where were they getting the money from? At that point, they hadn't even talked to a specific builder or check to see how much it would cost to have different utilities put out there. So where did the 2 years come from? I think they were going off of what happened to them when they were in Vegas, but in Vegas, they were already near a developed community and they already had an infrastructure. This is really them starting off new. She's stressed about having to tell her kids that they have to move. Cody says, I hope they handle it okay. I just don't like all the weeping and wailing over sad things. It's sad. If they have an emotion, then allow them to have an emotion. What do you expect when you're sitting here and you're uprooting them again? He said, we thought we'd be here for so long. Cody, you knew that this bill was going to be longer than 2 years. And unless you had a 2-year agreement with the owner, you can't jump to the conclusion that you're going to be there for 2 years. That's one of the things about private renting. It's set up a little differently. If people decide that they want to put their house on the market, then they decide they want to put their house on the market. This is something that you have to consider when moving into private homes. Cody wants Robin to buy, but Robin is waiting for the miracle from God. If only it were that easy. If only we prayed and got exactly what we wanted. When the kids arrive from school, they gather in the living room for a family discussion. They tell the kids that the people who own the home that they're renting want to sell it. So they have to be out by June. I don't understand where June came from. Why not August? Because they moved there in August, but I'm wondering if Robin put like her down payment down in June, because where did June come from? When did they sign that rental agreement? Cody tells the kids, we told the owners that we've been looking for a house, but we want to be out of here by the summer. Well, if they said June, then that would be out of there by the summer. So I'm confused on that timeline. He said, but just because we want to find a house doesn't mean we're gonna find a house. The kids all are shocked because they've enjoyed this rental. I think they like the rental more than their home in Vegas. It seems like it's a bigger home, so I would think that there's more space in there, but don't quote me on it. In confessional, Janelle lets us know that this is hard for Robin because Robin wants to build out on the property. Does she? I had mixed feelings while watching this episode because part of me is like, okay, Robin really wants to get out that on that property. And then part of me feels like Robin is putting on a show, but I'm not really sure how I feel, because I feel like the only person who really wanted to be on the property was Janelle. She's the only one who seemed to make steps later on to get out there. But you guys tell me what you think. She says if they build, it pushes them moving to the property further back. Christine is like, but whatever she does, we're going to support her. Robin says that, you know, she misses her home and she misses Vegas. As she's saying this, Cody looks at her like he's annoyed. And Cody reminds us and her that he didn't ask for this. Yes, you did. The moment you decided to uproot your family by separating them and having them move even further away from extended family, you moved the family without thinking things through, without having a true plan, without having true savings. The purchase of Coyote Pass was dumb. Moving before selling was dumb. Moving all at one time was dumb. There was so many things that they could have done differently that may have not put them in this pickle and caused them to spend the little bit of equity that they received from their homes. He's angry. He said that right now at this point, because of everything that's going on, I'm putting my head in my pillow face, and I'm saying bad words, angry. I need him to be angry at himself because Cody chose this. Cody suggested this. So who is he angry at? Are you really angry with Robin because she's the one who told you that she wanted to move to Arizona to follow her son? Like, who is he angry with? Aurora begins to get emotional. She says she's trying to process this and she just keeps having flashbacks of the process last time and it's stressing her out. Robin says it's not going to be like last time. Brianna's like, okay, so basically we're going to have to move again after we've already moved again, and then we're going to have to move again and again. I'm listening to them talk and I'm watching this episode and I don't understand why we're spending multiple episodes talking about this move and seeing a whole segment, well, two segments really, about this conversation, because she's not the only person who's had to move, nor are her kids. Janelle has moved twice since being there, and now Robin is going to have to move twice. We don't have to spend multiple episodes talking about it. Dayton says he's irritated. I would be irritated too, because the man that my mother decided to replace my father with is full of bird poo. Like, seriously. Cody is not a stand-up guy. And over the years, that mask, that his slip, as some people would say, is starting to show. Like, you can see that he is just not happy, and he's not the head of the household that he tries to act like he is. So Cody decides to joke around by saying that Dayton can share a room with his sisters. That's what they should have done with the girls. Have the two older girls share a room together. If you actually plan on this being a temporary situation, then that wouldn't matter. But I don't think that this was ever really a temporary situation. Robin says that's not even an option. Cody says, how about if you share a room with Ari? One of the girls said, you did that. Like, y'all are the reason why you have to have Ari in your room. Cody says we could use a break from her, but she can't use a break from me and mom. She's 3 years old and she's still sleeping with them. You can't tell me that at this point, if he's saying that Ariella needs them, that he wasn't at the house late at night, putting her to bed and things of that nature. I think Cody enjoyed this role. I don't get it. I don't know. I just never did that. Let me stay out of that thing. I know everybody has their various ways of raising their children, and I'm not supposed to judge. I just feel like at 3 years old, you can't get your child out of your room. Put her in the room with somebody else. What's the hold up? You've created this. Robin asks for the umpteenth time if the kids are happy in Flagstaff, and they say yes. And then we get clips of all the other, like, moms saying yes, and Mary's like, yeah, but I don't feel settled. And Gabe saying, you know, yes, Flagstaff is nice and beautiful, you know, but I basically still miss Vegas. And I just, like, it's beautiful, but your culture's gone. Cody says, in spite of our struggle, we all like it. And most of the family agrees. Robin says we just have to pray to God that we'll find our next place and it will somehow be better than this one. So her plan all along was to find something better, something bigger, which goes to show that she never listened to the fact that Cody said that they're going to have to downsize. She already had her plans on what she was going to have, because downsizing doesn't mean that you get a bigger home. It means that you get a smaller one. But that's not what she does. She says she feels like when God takes something away from you, he gives you something even better. How old is Robin? Because the way she's speaking to me sounds like she's a kid who doesn't know better. God didn't take this thing away from you. The people did. The people who own it took it. Cody says he wants to buy. Robin wants the rental. She doesn't understand why God would delay them going out on the property, because maybe he didn't want you all that on that property in the first place. We have a tendency, and this is for people who believe in God, to, say God wanted this and God wanted that and God wanted this, when a lot of times it's not God, it's us. It's what we want. It's what we've determined. They determined very early on what they wanted, and now they're trying to shift it, and she's trying to shift it and make what she wants happen. Brianna asked if you're still gonna do the one house thing. And the man who always talks about how his wives talk crap about him to his kids, the man who complains when the wives say certain things, decides that he's gonna talk crap about Christine to Robin's kids. And he says, most of the moms don't really like the idea of it, and some of them don't want to do it, especially Christine. Why even say all of that? The simple answer was no. So Gabe, Brianna, and Truly want the house, and Truly even is like, looks in the camera and says, that she wants the one house mom. Okay, so we're at Christine's. It's time for Maddie and Caleb's gender reveal. Robin lets us know that if they were going to have another baby, her and Cody, it would be a boy, because she always knows what the kids are. She sees them hanging out in heaven before they come down here. And she knew her kids' personality. She knew what Ariella's personality was going to be for a T. She lets us know it has nothing to do with her faith. It's just a feeling. Okay. We're told how Cody mixes up which wife did what. We see the older kids call in. Maddie and Caleb are in North Carolina, so the family is going to do the reveal video chat on Christine's big TV. The kids all pick out the corresponding color bow with what gender of baby they feel like it's going to be for whatever reason, maybe to rub it in Cody's face. Christine reveals that she already knows what Maddie and Caleb are having. She says it on the confessional couch, like she already knew. She doesn't say it there, which is good. But I'm like, okay, why do you feel the need to say this now? She tells us that Caleb told her, and Cody starts going on and on about how Christine must have been pestering him to find out. And I'm guessing he's saying that because he didn't know. And Cody doesn't like being out of the loop. She's like, after Janelle came back from visiting them, a couple weeks later, I went out and visited them, and Caleb told me. Janelle says she wasn't, upset that someone other than her knew the gender. She just didn't understand why Christine didn't tell her that before, while she waited until now. I don't understand why Christine needed to even tell that she knew. There were people who knew about what my son was going to be before I announced it, and they knew to keep it to themselves. And even afterwards, I don't think they came out and said, oh, I knew before you knew. It's like, I don't know. Part of me feels like Christine did that because she knew it would annoy Cody, but you all tell me what you think. They do a countdown, shoot off confetti cannons to reveal that Maddie and Caleb are having a baby girl. After the reveal, Cody is celebrating, and he says, I win, because he's happy he picked out the right color. You would think he'd be celebrating because he's getting a granddaughter, but he wants to celebrate the fact that he's right. And Christine even calls him out on it. Maddie says she's going to be having the baby in August, and that, she's finding herself extremely tired, and it's harder because she has no support. They knew this would be a thing. You got pregnant while you were out of town. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but all of this is things that you could have considered beforehand. You have a little one and you're still taking care of the little one and you get pregnant. It is going to be harder because there's days as a pregnant woman that you don't want to be bothered, or you're really, really fatigued and you can't like lean into it when your husband is far away and you have to make sure that your son is good. We see flashbacks of Mary and Robin getting into their argument on Coyote Pass. The bird reminds us that, her and Mary were really close at one point, and then something changed when she was pregnant with Ari, that, there were some things going on. Mary lets us know that she was in a dark place, and when she gets like that, she pulls away. We get it. You always tell us that. We understand. Mary goes back over the same conversation that we've heard so many times about what Cody did. The bottom line is he told Robin and Mary that the other person chose when neither one of them chose where they were going to have their house. So he caused a lot of unnecessary confusion because that is what he does. Robin said everyone takes their turn being last, and at this point, I'll make do with whatever. I want to know, when has Robin been last? Because everything about what Robin has says that she's first. It doesn't say that she's last. She has the bigger home. She has more help from Cody. She has the nanny. She has the additional focus. She has the legal marriage. Like, she has all these things. So how are you last? Mary says the magic happens with sister wives when we all feel like we have first choice, where everybody feels like they're being seen and they're being heard. And Cody lies and tells us that he does all that he can to make these relationships functional. But to him, some of their requests, some of the things that they want are delusional. Mary and Cody, we're told, are still struggling. But Mary's not looking for an out. Robin then says, like, we all know that Mary and Cody are struggling, and none of y'all call them out on it. At what point does someone really back their sister wife? What's the point of a sisterhood if you're not being a sister? If you're not being a friend? If you see this man continuously hurting the person that you supposedly love and care about? I understand that, in their faith, that there's things that the women are expected to do, but there's something called compassion, regardless of your faith or not, and I feel like they don't show that towards each other. Robin says, I told Mary so many times that I don't want to be in this family without her. Well, you're without her now. Christine lets us know that if you don't fight as a married couple, then you don't grow. I don't necessarily know if I agree with that. I'm not married. I feel like you can have disagreements and things of that nature, but lines have to be drawn. My married people, you let me know out there if fighting helps you grow. Because I would think that you can do other things to grow as well, like therapy, and talk things through without the fighting aspect of it. But I'm not married, so I don't know. Help me out. Seriously. They talk about house hunting. The bird tells us that it makes her want to go to war with Cody, that she's mad and she's upset and she's frustrated. Mary let her know that she found a rental a few days ago, and Robin tells us that, she's still struggling with finding a rental, but right now what she needs is for Janelle and Christine and Mary to kind of speak up and support her with Cody on not buying. Why does Robin want their help with that? Something about that rub me the wrong way, because I don't know if she legitimately wanted their help because she wanted their help, or she wanted their help because she knew if they too went up against Cody that it would cause issues for them. And currently she's saying her and Cody are having issues. So I just want to know, like, why now? Why does she want their help now? She tells us that she is still struggling. She says, you know, sometimes you have to push for what you think is right. I know I'm doing this for the right thing. When I'm fighting for my family. I said, girl, fighting for your family. Because according to Robin, if she does this, then their culture is going to change. If she buys the house, then the culture is going to change. The moment these people decided to uproot themselves and to sell their homes and to go to a place that costs even more money than where they were already living, and to drain the funds by having these multiple mortgages and rentals, and then move, and then have it be like that for some of them for over a year, where they were paying for, like Christine, 2 mortgages. Mary, it was paying a mortgage and rent for a year. Janelle was doing it for all over a year. It just goes to show you how much they wasted things and how much they hemorrhaged things, and how if they really were honest with themselves and they sat down and they had long talks about their financial situation, then they would have already determined that they're not going to build out on Coyote Pass anytime soon, because right now they're struggling to just remain above the water. Back at Robin's, she doesn't what? Back at Robin's, she is letting us know that she found out that the current rental that she thought was going to take a while, that her and Cody decided to tell the people that they were already looking for a house, has already sold. So they have 60 days to pack up and leave. I wonder how much notice they were given, because I feel like they were dragging their feet on this. She announced the rental situation a while ago. So what's going on here? Cody and Robin sit down with the children for another talk to share the news that they're moving and most likely putting in an offer on a house. Robin says God is not limited to the rules of this earth. So Cody keeps talking about how we're going to put an offer down, but God can give us what we want, and we could rent. That's what you want, but that's not what Cody wanted. You and Cody had 2 different prayers. Cody says he's telling us, God's telling us that we need to do something else other than what you're trying to say we need to do. They go back and forth about this, and they're doing this in front of the kids. Certain conversations don't need to be had in front of your children. I'm a firm believer of allowing children to stay in children's place. Now, I'm also the same person who will straight out come out and tell my son, like, look, I don't have that right now. Holler at me during my next paycheck. I'll tell them real quick. I just paid the rent and the water bill, and what else comes out of in the beginning of the month, and the Cox cable and all that. Like I there's a lot of bills that come out with one of my checks. So he's kind of learned over the years, like, now's not a good time to bother my mother about something that I want that I don't really need. Let me come back to her later on when she's in a better mood, because she hasn't spent all this money. Where am I at? She says that this move will set them back on their eventual move to Coyote Pass. Cody tells us where they bought Christine's home, and why they bought the home. He says they struggled for a little while when they bought it. While, you know, Robin doesn't want to be the person that financially set us back. So are you saying that Christine financially set you back? I don't quite understand why he needed to tell us that tidbit about Christine, but you can sit there and try to make Robin once again seem like she's just this responsible person, but she set you back years ago. She set you back when she joined the family. Because her joining the family didn't only take more from your budget, but it also took from your other families. But I'm going to leave that right there. He said, Robin isn't paying attention to the market. The message from God is to grow up about these things and buy a house. Aurora tells her parents that she was really looking forward to living on Coyote Pass before going off to college. I don't understand that timeline. I don't understand how Aurora thought that that was going to be a possibility. But she started to realize it's an unrealistic thing to think that this is going to happen. And she doesn't like now that with this happening, with them buying this house, if they do buy a house, that it's going to be pushed back even further. Even if they did sell the houses, all of their houses, it would have been unrealistic to think that it would happen. I don't think that those kids realize how much this move really cost their family. Because if you haven't seen it, I did a Say What video on the properties, on how much those houses went for in Vegas. And all of the houses sold, they got like between a $90,000 and I think $150,000 profit, which sounds really good. It sounds great when you have, a house sell and you can get that much out of the home. But the problem is that they were paying multiple bills and multiple houses for over 6 months to a year. So if you think about it, you're slowly but surely pulling off of your finances because you're having to pay for these two things. So they really didn't have as much, they really didn't gain as much from the sale of those houses as they would have if they really thought this out. Cody at this point doesn't really care about what Aurora is saying about how she's not going to get to live on Coyote Pass before she goes to college. I don't know why her before going to college really mattered, because you're staying at home. You're not staying on campus. So either way, even if it was a year after you were in college, you so attached to your mom, or your mother is so attached to you all, that you still would have been at her house. Cody tells them that buying a house is a better option than renting, adding that he wants to build on Coyote Pass and buy a home with hopes that when they move on Coyote Pass, they can go ahead and turn those homes into an investment situation. And Robin doesn't want to hear about the investment part. She's over the investment part. She wants to hear about them getting their family out on Coyote Pass, because that is what he promised. I do, now that I'm talking, I keep changing my mind. Y'all tell me what you think. But I do feel like Robin did want to be on Coyote Pass. That much I believe. I just don't believe this other part. I think that once Robin got into that home, that they bought that home, I feel like Robin got comfortable because she was fine. She got what she wanted. He talks about how their mother has rejected every house that doesn't have at least 5 bedrooms. So this is on Robin. It's not on God. It's on Robin. Because Robin's the one who keeps rejecting houses. She says, we need, a lot of rooms. Someone is going to have to share. That's why we need 6. She says, look, a rental is going to pop up. And he's looking at her like, I'm so over you and your extravagant taste. Mom and I are just in a fight about this. I feel like he's really dumb, because once again, why are you telling the kids that you guys are fighting about this? Why are you guys going back and forth in front of the kids? In her confessional, Robin admits that she and Cody have been arguing more than ever. There has to be some truth to this statement, because Cody looks like he's getting annoyed by her. Either that or they're doing some really good acting. He lets us know that he's tired of her. She says he's been intense and combative, and it's not a way that she's used to interacting with him. And you're not used to this, but understand this little bit of Cody that you're getting is something that your other wives experience all the time. And you would think that with them experiencing that all the time, that you would have a little bit more empathy for them, because here you are only experiencing this for a couple of weeks and you look like you're about to I don't know, cry. She looks so sad and so depressed while she's telling her kids the situation. Put on a brave face so that they don't pull from your anxiety about it and we don't see what happened happen. She says, Cody says, I'm getting closer to the point where I will dissolve the partnership that I have with her on an agreement, and I will go buy a house with her. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Those are threatening words, but I'd rather be a team and make it happen than sit here and go to war in order to house my children. Cody doesn't like that she's going against what he wants. And we all know that when you don't do what Cody wants, Cody has a problem with you. As Cody continues running his mouth, he's telling the kids how hard it is to find a rental and how, much of a pain it is and how much they've been looking. If Robin didn't require so many rooms, it wouldn't be as hard. Aurora starts to twitch. They call it a twitch. I think it's more of a tremble. I don't think it's a twitch. Trembling is a side of anxiety. And she begins to start talking, and she's stuttering right while she's talking, and Robin goes over to the couch to sit and comfort her, and she starts crying, and Dayton says, is it really all that bad? I don't know how I feel about that statement, because I understand that Dayton is on the spectrum, but Dayton is highly functioning, and as he's watching, they're telling us that this happens all the time. He's telling us that he's never seen that before. I understand they say it's never been this bad, but I'm trying to figure out why this is seeming like it's new to him. We're told that she's having a panic attack. They say Aurora deals with these often in high stress situations, and yet here they are putting her in a high stress situation. She gets to the point where she can't talk or walk. We see Cody cradle her like a baby, and Robin's like you're crying with her. You're making the faces, you're being dramatic with her, and she's walking behind Cody as he carries her like she's about to perish. Understand, I'm trying really hard. I'm not trying to be insensitive to her. As I said before, I used to have really, really bad panic attacks to the point where there were times where I was taken to the hospital because I could not get my breathing together. Like, one of the things that they tell you to do is to try to think about something else, or to do deep breathing, of course, medicate, to do your walking. Like, there's things that if you speak with someone, that they try to help you with, to help you cope when you're having a panic attack. But there are also things, to me, that make it worse, that don't make the situation better, like your parents hovering over you and a camera being put in your face and them continuing to talk about the situation, even though they can see and sense that you're stressed. Cut the conversation off. Be like, look, you all don't have to worry about it. Whether we move or not, you guys are going to be good. You're going to be safe, and we're all going to be together. Say something, but don't sit there and make the situation worse by stressing the girl out. So she's carried upstairs. Cody says, when the two of us aren't getting along, it makes her uncomfortable, and it bothers her. And, we haven't been getting along. The bird says she takes some blame for what Aurora is going through, while Cody says they didn't ask for any of this stress or any of the moving. Okay, so you're deflecting because, you didn't ask for it. You wanted it. And you wanted to have this talk with the kids on multiple occasions, when you should have just told them to start packing up their things, keep the things that they use the most out, and move from there. You didn't have to do all this other stuff to cause what I feel like was a scene. They admit that Aurora's panic attacks have gotten worse. Robin says that it's likely because she's feeling the disruption of her family. If Robin knew that Aurora struggled so much with anxiety, my question to you all is, why didn't she mention this back in Vegas when both Christine and Janelle were concerned about how this move would affect their kids mentally? At no point did Robin mention the anxiety. And I'm not saying that it wasn't there, but I'm saying that if you knew that this was something that your daughter struggled with, then this very much so should have been considered. And rather than you trying to throw the triplets angle down our throats, you should have brought up her health, her stability. You didn't even have to say anxiety, and that would have been enough. After everything happens, Aurora is laying down for a nap, Cody says. Aurora tells us that the panic attacks, she very much sounds like her mother when she's talking. The panic attacks happen 4 to 5 times a week. When she's really upset or stressed or exhausted. She tells us about her tremors and about her hyperventilating and how she just can't walk. Cody lets us know it's the worst he's ever seen it. And my question is, when do these start? Like, have y'all really evaluated the situation to see when they started? Because Aurora over the years has turned into a recluse. She used to seem to be far more outgoing when she first came into the family. And I want to know what happened, because it's not always, let me not act like it's always, oh, situations happen. You experience a traumatic event and then you have them. But in some cases, that is what happens. I know that's what happened for me. So my question is, what happened that created this? And why aren't you all working diligently to get this together if she's having these things occur 4 to 5 times a week? That's a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot of stress on your body. And it does feel like at some points, depending on how bad it is, like your heart, because of the acceleration of your heart and because of your breathing and stuff, it does feel like you're gonna die. So that's not helping the situation. Cody says it's stress oriented. We're seeing a doctor about it. Something about the way that he said it, I don't believe him. I don't believe him at all. I feel like they lie about certain things. And I'm not saying that they're lying about her having panic attacks, but I think they're lying about seeing a doctor. Because if they're that severe, I would think that at this point, a doctor would have prescribed her some form of medication, even if you take it or not, or recommend some things other than what you all are doing, like stressing this kid out. Robin says she and Cody will continue to look for rentals, and Cody lets us know if they find a home that's nice enough, maybe the kids could convince her to buy it. And that was the end of it. Robin wasn't flexible at all when it came to this rental situation, and it makes me wonder if she's being difficult on purpose. Her demand for each kid to have their own bedroom was what hindered this process, because Mary too has been placed out of her rental, and nothing was said about all the stress that this causes for Mary, because this is going to be Mary's third move, and because Mary, unlike Robin, already doesn't feel like she's a part of the family. Nobody's even worried about Mary's move, but Mary has found what she wanted, because Mary isn't as well, she doesn't require as many rooms as the bird. He could have easily, or she could have easily, done like the other wives and actually downsized, but instead she took on additional expenses that cost the family even more money. An easy fix to me would have been for her to get a cheaper rental with 4 bedrooms while they build the one house, so that they can save money and actually get out on Coyote Pass. Part of me feels like this is a show as far as Cody and Robin is concerned. I think that at some point, even though they were doing their back and forth, that she had already knew that they were going to buy. I think Robin disagrees with him on camera because this is her way of letting the wives see that she cares, that she cared about them, that she's trying to fight for them and their family and their culture. But if she really cared and if she was really that concerned, then a 4-bedroom house would have worked. But the bird and her kids, no matter what, have to get what they want. They've been in the family for the least amount of time, and they seem to have the best of the best while everyone else gets their scraps. Good part of this would be Janelle telling us that, Savannah used to get hand-me-downs from Brianna. Brianna, who also, was it her who told us, or Robin? I know Robin said it too. Robin was even talking about how, her kids had all these books. You have all these things and you do all these things and it's so much stuff in your house and you just don't care how all of that destroys the rest of the family. I think there's a lot of things that happen with them that is selfish. I don't know, y'all. This one, I'm ending kind of funky, but this one kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I guess my number one question to you all, and maybe I'll put it in I'll pin it, is do we think that this disagreement between Robin and Cody was really legitimate? Like, do we think Robin was really, really concerned about the houses? Because I go back and forth on it. But you all let me know what you think. Until next time.